So hi, on the Grimes podcast. I'm Shane,
I'm Glory.
and we're here with.
Hey, I'm Roger from Listen Jake. Let's go.
And we have
Let's
some
go.
questions to say about the upcoming EP, Uncharted. So congrats on that, by the way. How do you feel about the response to the announcement so far?
So far, I've been stoked on it, man. I feel like, the songs are super solid. I'm like super excited about it. The fan response has been great. We've been shuffling pretty much all of the singles live, and they all feel good to play live. And it's just so crazy after like being in the band for so long and putting out like really trying to put your best foot forward, and then like people are singing the song that's the new song. You know what I mean? It's
hmm
not just like the song from 25 years ago. It's like that's a really amazing feeling to like keep taking steps forward.
Yeah,
hmm
I can imagine
You're
because
right.
not every band doing it as long as you guys have been, it gets to have that feeling of like 25 years in and the fans are singing the newest single.
The new shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. And I have to, I'll kind of concur. Like, a lot of bands, even bands that I'm a big fan of, like their later records just don't have the heat. It's just like the songs will
Yep.
start. I don't know what it is. Like, I mean, I guess that happens to bands in general, but for me, like it's kind of weird. But like honestly, like when I listen to like all of the songs that we play at a show and like our biggest songs and stuff, I'm like, these are good, but I still haven't written my best song. Like I still feel like I have so much more to like explore and come up with musically. So it's just
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah,
That's so good to hear. That
yeah,
makes me very happy that you still have like that fire in you. That's fucking awesome.
Well, it's just weird. Like, you keep rediscovering stuff. Like, like I
hmm
found this like Van Halen song. I was like, oh, I know the song. And then like, oh, I never noticed this thing about it. And like you get
Yeah.
inspired by something and it's like if you're a real musician, like there's so much out there to like
Oh yeah.
learn and figure out and try new stuff and just get better at your craft.
yeah.
hmm
And if you
Damn
feel
right.
like you haven't written your best song yet, you're never going to settle.
Yeah.
That's the idea, man. Just keep going until the flame burns out. Let's go.
There you go. Hell yeah.
Damn
Well,
right.
on that note, the EP fucking rips. It's so good.
Oh,
Incredible.
thanks,
Yeah.
man. Thank you
Yeah.
so
Of
much. Very stoked on it. The
course.
artwork was the same artist that had done our Hello Rockview record years ago. So it
Oh
was
fuck yeah.
cool to like work with him and have like, sort of a familiar brain on the idea. And he actually is the one that came up with the title because we were kind of shuffling around a bunch of different titles and he was like, what about Uncharted? We were like, oh yeah, that's perfect. That fits everything. Because he's like, like the Uncharted, like not being on the Billboard charts kind of thing, and just like kind of venturing into a bit of new territory, that kind of idea of like being a pirate. It like fit the idea of the whole idea of the cover and the whole theme and everything. So it's perfect. He's
Yeah.
great. Steve Vance. Steve Vance, shout out. Thanks, buddy.
Shout out. Shout out, Steve. Wow, so you literally took my exact next question, which was asking the meaning behind the cover art and the title. But what you're saying
Oh,
is it was the artist who basically rounded it out for you guys.
well, we knew that we had 70 unique songs and we wanted to kind
hmm
of like it didn't feel like sometimes when you write songs they kind of all have a similar sort of theme, or I don't know, you're working with the same Lego pieces or something, and it kind of sounds more like an album. And on
hmm
these songs, they felt like they were their own individual singles to us. So
Yeah.
we wanted to kind of like feature them all individually, and then we kind of thought about the idea of like having pieces of a map that came together. We did the 7 inches that were like halves of the map that you could assemble the whole map,
Yeah.
and that idea of like a treasure map and a lot of interesting artwork on there was kind of going around. But yeah, we had other ideas for the actual title,
hmm
but and when we asked him, we were like, can you think of any other titles? And he had like a big huge list, and like the last one was Uncharted. We were all like, oh, that's perfect. So
It's fucking awesome.
yeah, yeah,
Huh.
yeah, there's some theme there, but it really, like I said, musically I feel like all seven of the songs kind of like stand out on their own. They can stand up on their own. So
Yeah, absolutely. Love
Hell
it.
yeah.
hmm
So can you tell us a little bit about your writing process for the EP?
For this one, it's kind of crazy these days. Everyone is pretty involved in the writing process. It's like um, for me, like I just stack ideas and I just have like a lot of like shells of ideas of like half songs and stuff. And then you kind of go through those one day and you're like, oh, this one's cool. Like I should finish this one. And then maybe you get some ideas for the lyrical side or something. And for me, it's usually like, doing your homework and kind of like finding stuff. Um,
hmm
one of the songs on there, Not My Problem, is a song that Chris brought to the table. And it was like last minute, like we're going to the studio in 2 weeks. And like, he's just like,
Oh,
I have this song. And like, I have these ideas, and sent it around and we got together and we jammed it out and, figured out all the like how to dot the I's and cross the T's, if you will, all that like
hmm
mechanical stuff. And we were like, wow, that came together really fast, and it, made it on the EP. And so for him, sometimes it's like a flash of lightning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the one that to me is really interesting on this one is Brand New Day, because so that is like the first sort of musical contribution that Matt Yonker has made, as a drummer,
Mm-hmm.
coming in with some ideas, because he also plays guitar and comes up with melodies and all that. So that was actually, he had brought us a couple different ideas to the table, and I really liked the way that the music sort of felt, for parts of one of them,
Mm-hmm.
and on the other one, I really kind of liked what the like lyrical vibe was, what he was trying to say.
Yeah.
And so I actually like merged his two song ideas and kind of like rounded it out with some chords for the chorus, and like kind of finished off the song in a way, like, but we kind
Mm-hmm.
of wrote it together, but by Frankensteining other ideas.
Mhm.
So like, there's no rule book on like where songs can come from and how it can, get conceived and developed. Like anything
Mm-hmm.
goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome.
Damn.
Yeah, man.
So you
Yeah,
mentioned that. Oh,
yeah, yeah. It's like I said, it's an interesting time right now where like literally all of us can like kick ideas into the pile, and then the rest of us sort of like, finger paint a little bit with it and make it into a slightly different picture. And then, when it comes out at the end, it's still like a Less Than Jake song.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So you mentioned that having 2 weeks notice before going into the studio to create a song was last minute. So does that mean that you guys always go into studios with kind of like fully fleshed out songs? You don't like write or do anything else in the studio?
Oh no, I wouldn't say that, but
Mm-hmm.
we had a lot of different recording experiences through the years. So the
Mm-hmm.
back in the day, we did the whole studio producer thing, and then
Yeah, yeah.
after about 2010, I kind of took over that role in a way, and we were just recording most of the material at my studio, and I was the one pushing the buttons and kind of being like, okay, let's do that again, or that's good enough, or whatever, sort of being the producer hat.
Mm-hmm.
And but for this last EP, we actually went to the blasting room in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
It's Bill Stevenson's studio from The Descendants, and I
Oh,
worked there with Jason Livermore, who's I've worked with a lot on the studio side of things. But to actually go somewhere else and show up there and okay, we only have a limited amount of days here. We have to get this done. Yeah, we
mm-hmm.
were a little bit more trying to be a bit more prepared on
Yeah.
this round than in the past, because other times there has been like, oh, we don't really know what we're going to do in this section, or we still need to figure out lyrics for this, or like
Mm-hmm.
what, not sure what this horn part's going to be, blah blah blah. And you can kind of like figure that out in the studio. So but yeah, this last time around we were kind of like, let's show up and know what the hell we're doing and knock it
Mm-hmm.
out.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Makes sense. So what song off the EP took the longest to write, and which one is your personal favorite?
Let's see, longest to write.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think it's gonna be the same song. I think the answer is the same song.
Mm-hmm.
I think my favorite song on the EP is the latest single and the latest video, Sunny Side.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
There's just something about it for me. I don't know. It's feels really good to sing it and say it and like get those words out.
Yeah.
But the beginning guitar part there, that the way the song starts, and that first little section of the song, that particular riff, I think Chris has been playing for 25 years. Like I've heard that riff 1,000
My
times
God. Yeah.
in kind of like, like goofing around, warming up, or like,
Mm-hmm.
I have this little idea thing, but it never like was concentrated on and developed
Mm-hmm.
into a song all the way.
Yeah.
And so I feel like Sunnyside is like the thing because of that. That one, quote unquote, took the longest to develop. But once we started jamming on it, and I kind of came in with the other parts of the song, and everyone got the horn parts going, and like I said, everyone comes in there and kicks some stuff around.
Yeah.
It came together as quickly as the other ones. But yeah, that riff is actually that's old school.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Damn.
Love
Pulled
it.
that from, yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, and yeah, I don't know. That one just feels really good.
Mm-hmm.
It's got like a lot of me in there. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
like it's there's lyrics in there about changing my name, and I
Mhm.
I did do that, and it's kind of like that whole theory of like, keep your sunny side up. I feel like that's very me. You got to like keep your
Yeah.
positives going, and like
Mm-hmm.
try to do the best with what you have. And like I'm
Yeah.
like the optimistic guy, sort of. So like
I get
it
Yeah.
those
just
vibes.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
man, it feels like it, man. Like that song feels like it. It feels like what it feels like, and it's the reaction so far has been great, and the video came out great. So super stoked on it.
Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah. Mm-hmm.
So for this question, I want you to pick your favorite lyric off the EP and tell us the meaning behind it.
Oh God, I have no idea. There's so many. How am I supposed to fly through all of them in my head? Let's see. Um, well, okay, so you know, I think like lately, with stuff that's been going on personally and stuff, I think Broken Words is a really fitting song. Um, and just the idea, that words are broken sometimes. Sometimes you try to say something and like a word kind of can get interpreted a couple different ways, or you don't exactly say it perfectly and then someone
Hmm.
misunderstands it. Like
Hmm.
that is so real to me, man. Like
Hmm.
it's so real. Like language is
Yeah.
so broken. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
like there's so many and like sometimes like especially like in modern day, like you see something in text or like written in a post, it doesn't have that the sounds that give
Hmm.
you an emotion that was
Yeah.
attached to the words, and they can just come out wrong, and it's people, and that can cause problems and shit. It does for me, like I don't know, like
Hmm.
I guess I say stuff wrong sometimes, I
Yeah.
don't know.
No,
Yeah.
I'm a big component of just picking up the phone. Just pick up the
Hmm.
phone because shit can like less likely to get lost in translation if I just pick up
Yeah.
the phone.
Hmm.
Yeah, man, you're totally right. But it's like, modern day, everyone's so like in this texting convenience. And
Yeah.
I don't know, sometimes you like text something real quick on your way out the door and you didn't really say everything you meant to say, and then
Mhm.
someone gets pissed off. Like that's like not that
Exactly.
weird, that happens.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, I think the whole theme of the whole like, words are broken again. Like that's,
Hmm.
we gotta do better at communicating. Either we gotta figure out how to do the Vulcan mind meld,
Hmm.
or we all gotta speak Japanese because they use a lot more details and they're a lot more formal, and they maybe
Yeah. Yeah. It's
maybe
one
we'll
or
do a
the
better
other.
job. Yeah.
It's one or the other. No in between. No in between.
I I vote for the Vulcan mind meld though. If we could just do that, we'd be fine.
That sounds
Honestly, that'd
badass.
be dope. Yeah. He's so fucking dope. So, would you be able to tell us where your headspace is at while you're creating this DP?
Pretty solid. I mean, we had our last record, Silver Linings, that was kind of this new era of the band where everyone's sort of contributing to the lyrics and the overall thing, and it felt really good. We did a lot of touring. We kind of hit the road pretty hard, and we were sort of like feeling like, hey, everyone's got some creative juices going, and there was
Hmm.
a lot of song ideas sort of floating around, and just it just feels like I said before, it just feels really good to be like, okay, we're gonna book some time, and we're
Hmm.
gonna get into a rehearsal room together and like bash stuff out, because back in the day we all lived in the same town, but now everyone's kind of spread out, and
Yeah.
it's like a bit more of a plan. You got to, all right, let's like make a schedule here, and like this is when we're gonna rehearse and write and
Hmm.
come up with stuff, and it just feels awesome. It feels great to keep taking those steps forward. And
Hmm.
my headspace was very much in this like, hey, we're gonna do our best. We're gonna all help each other out. And when it comes out on the other side, I want something that's gonna be like, oh, I want to listen to this on repeat. Like, like
Hmm.
it's got all the little ear candy and like all the stuff, all the pulls of the little heartstrings, and like
Yeah.
the stuff that makes songs really good. I mean, I'm a song fan, right? So like got
Hmm.
to get all those little things in there, and sometimes that just takes the effort. But just super stoked to still be doing it. Super stoked to still be kind of like, I mean, I've been harmonizing with this man Chris DeMakes for 34 years, so it's just a crazy thing to still be singing together and
Hmm.
and out here having fun.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Damn right.
Hell yeah.
Hmm.
So, how do you recommend your fans to listen to CP for the first time? Should you do it in the car with friends, in the dark with headphones on? Is workout EP, party EP? What do you personally recommend?
A workout EP, that sounds weird.
Yeah.
That's good.
In
Yeah,
your PR.
maybe it's a good long bike ride EP. It's kind of like
Ooh.
go on a long bike ride, just something isolated, but where you're outside, you're not like staring at a screen,
Mhm.
like
Hmm.
get out there, listen to music. I feel like, on other albums that we've done in the more recently, the attention span has really dropped down for a lot of people out there. They'll get through the first song and maybe the second song, or maybe they'll just hear the single, but it's rare that you can see it on the Spotify plays and stuff. It's rare that
Hmm.
people get to track 7,
Mhm.
Yeah.
as opposed to the way it used to be. People would kind of consume a whole album as like
Hmm.
one picture, but
Yeah.
I feel like, doing that now is just it's kind of a lot of work, and like sometimes the best track is track 7 or 8, or like something that I feel like
Exactly.
is a great message, and people don't get to that. So
Hmm.
we tried to make it easy. We tried to make a 7 song album, extended EP, if you will,
Hmm.
and I feel like we kind of cover a lot of the bases of sort of different vibes of songs that we do, and
Hmm.
like I said, it's just feels like a strong step forward. Stoked on it, and we're already talking about the plans for what we're going to do next year for new stuff.
Yeah.
So we keep moving forward, and I think, maybe go outside, put on some headphones and, take a walk or something, be out in nature and just listen to the whole thing and be like, okay, this is a photograph of what these guys did for like 4 months of their lives, coming up with these songs.
Yeah.
And I think it's good. I think it's good. I think it's solid. I think it's better than an album with a bunch of filler on it.
I'd say so.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this one should be super, super quick. Off the top of your head, I want you to describe this EP for new listeners in 3 words. No more, no less.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
3 words.
Hmm.
Um, honest,
Okay.
um, hooky,
Hmm.
and I think, the best is just it's less than Jakey.
Okay. Yeah.
It's
So
it's
less
very
than Jakey.
it's less than Jakey. Like we're always gonna sound like us as long as we're all still involved. It's just gonna be us.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
gonna
I
sound
exactly.
like
love.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell
Fuck
yeah.
yeah.
So in that same train of thought, is there a certain feeling or emotion you want listeners to have while going through the EP?
Feeling or emotion, just openness, just be open, like it's like I think the theme of the thing is like try to do your best, try to look for the sunny side, try to like fight your demons a little bit, like on the walking pipe bomb is sort of an example of that. It's like, hey, sometimes crap gets thrown at you and it's hard to
Hmm.
let it go, like I think that's relatable and yeah, just hey, it's we're all in this together, you know what I'm saying? Like that's
Yeah.
the theme of the EP is look, we're all kind of traveling into uncharted territory every day. We don't know what's going to come, so we just try to, steer your ship in the best direction that you can, and like
Hmm.
try to be happy in this crazy world that we're in.
God.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's all you can
100%.
do, man. Just find your joy. It's all you can do.
Yeah, which is
Find your
easier said than
joy.
done some days, you know?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hmm. So, are you able to touch on any particularly challenging or standout moments during the creation of this EP, positive or negative?
Positive or negative?
Hmm.
Well, I will say this. Like I had mentioned before, a lot of the records over the last decade or so, like I've been done in my studio, and I'm kind of wearing the producer hat. So when it comes time for like, I'm gonna play bass on the song or whatever,
Hmm.
I have only my own standards there. You know what I mean? And on this go around, like this is the first time that like I sat next to somebody else that was kind of being like, oh, okay, you're going to play bass on it, and I'm going to be the one saying,
Oh shit.
this is
Yeah.
good enough. And it's Bill Stevenson from The Descendants, right?
Yeah.
So not only
Yeah.
one of my idols of my favorite bands, but just also
Hmm.
like, a guy with a really, really particular ear and a very
Hmm.
good ear and very picky. So I'm not going to say it was a challenge, so to speak, but it was a different mindset of like performing, like particularly bass and singing,
Hmm.
um, performing that for his ear, and making sure that he
Hmm.
was cool with it. And if I had done it on my own, it would have taken half the time. But he was more particular than I would have been,
Hmm.
and it was slightly frustrating, but at the same time, I knew that it was for the best, the best intentions for the recording,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and not just on bass, but also on singing too. Like it was
Hmm.
like some of that stuff. Like I sang it dozens and dozens and dozens of times. Where if I had done it myself, I probably would have been okay with like take five. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So stuff like that but it was cool. That's what we signed up for. We wanted someone else to
Exactly.
take the reins, and I
Hmm.
didn't want to be like thinking about that kind of stuff. I just wanted to be like, yeah, is the vibe there? Are the lyrics right? Am I
Hmm.
singing it right? So it was also awesome to have that sort of someone else setting the standard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Damn right.
I'm curious why you guys this time around wanted someone else to take the reins because you mentioned for like the past 10 years you've been the one in the producer chair. So I'm curious why this time around you guys wanted to switch up.
Yeah, I think it's just to keep pushing it forward a little bit. I think, my studio is great and all that kind of stuff. It's very comfortable for everyone. And a lot of the stuff that I've recorded has gotten mixed at the blasting room, and it's sort of a similar sonic result. I think
Hmm.
it was just the idea of a new environment. And it's a little different when, you know, we're at my studio and I'm at home and other
Hmm.
people are traveling,
Yeah.
right? There are other people are away from home. They're staying at a hotel and I'm at home, and I'm not going to say there's like an unfairness there, but I'm like a little more settled, because
Yeah.
I'm sleeping in my own bed, and so is
Hmm.
Buddy. We're the last two guys still living in Gainesville.
Hmm.
But I think the idea of going somewhere had that camaraderie of like we're all gonna travel somewhere and have this time away from home together, like
Hmm.
that kind of mission.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that it proved to work out in a good way. I think in this era of the band here, like I'm a little bit better suited putting most of my energy on the songwriting and not
Mhm.
worrying so much about, which guitar mic we're using and stuff like that.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So for this question, since you're on tour, we got to ask, what's been your go-to snack if you guys are at a gas station or a rest stop?
Go-to snacks. I'm a Chex Mix guy. I like Chex
Oh,
Mix.
fuck yeah.
Yeah,
What color?
and I like the boring one or the spicy one. Either one. I don't
Oh,
the like bold one, the black one or the blue one. But yeah,
yeah, yeah,
Chex Mix is where it's at. You got to have a little variety, man. A little
yeah.
variety.
Hell
Spice
yeah.
of life. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hell yeah. And on the topic of food, if the band was a dish, what dish would the band be and why?
That's a really hard question. What dish would we be? It would be some sort of like really unconventional sushi with like really weird ingredients that like don't go together at all.
Yeah.
But then when the sushi wrap gets on there, then it has a flavor that is palatable.
Okay, okay, okay.
All right, you wrapped it
I'll
Fucking
start with
together.
love it. Yeah.
that.
And for the last couple questions, going to shift completely away from music and go straight to death row.
Boom.
So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
Um, ooh, man, maybe like a man. I love a taco. Don't get me wrong, I love a taco. But last
Mm.
meal, I feel like you want something kind of filling. Maybe like a chicken parm. Like a real
Ooh.
heavy chicken parm.
Mm-hmm.
And last beverage, I'm not a drinker, so it would have to be like when you would go to like that one sandwich shop and they just had like the perfect fountain drink where the mix was perfect, like
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't too syrupy or too carbonated.
Yeah.
It's like the perfect soft drink mix, and it would probably be like a Dr. Pepper or like a maybe even like a cherry Coke or something, like a
Ooh,
dark
cherry Coke.
soda,
Yeah.
like
Mm-hmm.
something that's but not like out of a can because that's not the right mix. It needs to be like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
fountain drink with the straw thing,
Where, where
Yeah,
they
yeah,
That
where
would
they
yeah.
be
just they somehow perfected the mix of the carbonation and the syrup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah, man. And then when you go somewhere and the mix is off, you're like, oh, this is
What the
terrible. Like
fuck
Fuck
is
it's
this.
this?
so
Yeah.
off. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so chicken parm, a real nice, heavy, well breaded chicken parm. That sounds really. I'm hungry now. And
Yeah,
a lovely soda. I love a really good soda.
Hell yeah.
yeah. Damn right. And if you could live in one fictional world for a week, where would you live?
I'll take door number three, which is being a crew member on the
Hmm.
USS Enterprise during the
Yeah,
next generation.
yeah.
Like
Fuck yeah.
something in the future where like humankind has actually figured its shit out and people
Hmm.
like actually like value each other, and there's like a whole bunch of this crap that the world is stuck on has disappeared.
Yeah.
Like
As long
yeah, as long as just a time in the future when everybody's getting along, like Star Trek land, like there you go, there's my
yeah.
fantasy.
Damn
I'm
right.
into
As
it.
long as you're not wearing like a red shirt, you should be good, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
no
yeah.
red shirt, yeah.
No red shirt. Yeah.
Love it.
And I've thought of asking the last question. Every single person that we've spoken to have said that it is the most important question. What's your favorite color?
Wow. My favorite color. Okay, so I have come to this realization. Okay, I used
Hmm.
to be like, oh, I'm cool. My favorite color is black, and then I looked around and I was like, oh, my car is blue, and I was like, oh, my guitar is blue, and I was like,
Oh,
oh crap, that my like thing I keep my bathroom stuff in is blue. I was like, I guess blue's my favorite color, and I
yeah.
was like, all right,
Surprise.
fine, blue's my favorite color, and then
Hmm?
about 8 months ago, I was like, yeah, blue's my favorite color, and then I was like, oh, the base I just got is green, and then I was like, oh, my nails are also lime green right now, and
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, my water cup is also lime green right now. So I think I'm now admitting that my favorite color is like a lime green.
Sounds
Okay.
like an identity crisis. You're still
Right.
trying to figure that out.
Hey man, I'm just taking what the universe gives me, man. I'm just not,
Yeah, damn right. Damn
Oh
right.
yeah. So as I
good
said,
one.
that's all the questions we have today. Is there anything that you would like to plug?
Oh, just the EP, man. Thanks for checking it out. We're gonna be doing a lot of shows next summer. We have a really solid tour coming up next summer for those ska punk fans that are into the old school. Like,
Hmm.
keep your ears open for that. Thanks for all the follows and the comments. Like, that's literally the fuel that keeps the band going. And yeah, thanks for checking out the new stuff. And we're not going anywhere. We'll be around.
Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. It's been Roger from Less Than Jake, and we have been the Good Noise Podcast.